know what is happening here. And we don't know what the speaker wants to do. We are members of parliament. We are not criminals. People voted for us. So why are we treating like this?
What is the agenda on the floor of parliament today from your side?
I don't know. We don't have any agenda. What we knew is Speaker has suspended 3 of our members. So we don't know the agenda for today. We are coming to our normal sitting.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. So you heard Gloria, who is the MP for Trobo, also speaking to us about why the minority has today decided to wear black attire and also clad themselves in red armbands in protest against the Speaker's directive suspending 3 of their colleagues, as well as the majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo.
Hello, Nick. We know that there are 2 main entrances, right, to the parliamentary building itself. The one facing the conference center and the one behind where you have the police post. Describe to us what these 2 entrances look like. I'm asking this because of the barricading we are seeing at the main entrance into the chamber. Is this the same level of security you are seeing at these main entrances or not?
Well, so Nana, as I was coming in this morning, I saw at the entrance, one close to the conference center, that there has been heavy security presence there as well. Barricades have been mounted there. And whenever you get there, there is a thorough check before you are allowed into the precinct of Parliament itself. What I was made to do was to roll down my glasses, the car glasses, to ensure that it is thoroughly checked before I made entry, and all other entrants to Parliament were also made to go through the same procedure. So it is a whole level of security here today just to ensure that there is order to prevent these MPs who have been suspended from making their way into the chamber. I have there with me the MP for Force Ayubi. Let's engage him also on this issue.
I'm black in solidarity with our brothers who Speaker has purported to suspend for 2 weeks. And we have been on record to draw his attention that in line with the standing orders of Parliament, respectfully, the Speaker does not have the power to do that. Even the disciplinary processes, they are laid down rules, either on the 30 to 35 or 129, 130. What he has done is totally ultra-virus, and he doesn't have the powers to do that. And so in solidarity with our brothers, that's why you see us in black.
You've sent a memo through your leader.
That's correct. That is correct.
Is this an additional measure?
Which one?
I'm talking about you clad in black and red. Is this an additional measure?
It's complementary to that, yes.
Now, the vetting process, and somebody has argued that actions and reactions. What happened at that point?
Judge cannot say because he is scandalized by the theft, he has picked a gun from his holster and has shot the man and killed him. You would have to have the man prosecuted, the threshold for conviction met, a conviction established, and even sentencing has to be done in accordance with the law. So we have not said that Mr. Speaker is unqualified to be angry or is unjustified in his anger. In fact, the committee apologized on Friday morning. What we have said is that Mr. Speaker's suo motu attempt to punish without recourse to the standing orders is what we respectfully disagree with. And when we get into the chamber today, that's what we want to draw his attention to. It's surprising that the marshals don't want to let us into the chamber.
Yeah. Ordinarily, we shouldn't see you here in this number. But what is preventing you from going in?
The marshals say they are under instructions not to let us in. We are waiting. We've sent our leadership in to find out who's giving this instruction and why. We're waiting. I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours. We'll be here and we'll wait until they open us to go in. Parliament is a house of dialogue where we would have the opportunity to raise the issues and draw Mr. Speaker's attention to the standing orders. And that's the opportunity we're looking for.
You are a lawyer. Many have argued that the standing orders of Parliament gives the Speaker discretion.
To do what?
To make decisions where those situations are not captured expressly in the standing orders. And this might be one of them.
No. The standing orders are provided between Order 30 and 35 the standing orders have provided for what will happen in an instance like this. Order 129, Order 130, the standing orders have provided. So this is not an instance where the standing orders have not provided, and therefore Mr. Speaker is making up the rules. No, it's not one of those.
Now, the special committee has your members as well. Will your members partake in the business?
Our members have not participated. Again, the standing orders are clear on what it takes to set up an ad hoc committee. You would have to consult leadership, and leadership will nominate their members. You heard Mr. Speaker say that he himself has elected to put some people on the committee. Again, that is in flagrant disregard of the standing orders, and that's why we will not be able to comply with that.
Finally, from me, the appointments committee report. Some of them we told already. Are we to expect a decision to be taken on some of the news through voting? You have experience in that.
We haven't seen the reports from the committee. When the committee brings the report of those that were vetted, we will exercise our minds to it. We do understand that some persons were vetted by the dissolved committee. We are not sure that that amounts to vetting when it gets there who address it.
So you heard that the MP for Ofuase IRB speaking to us, Kojo Oponkroma. Now the chamber has been opened for the MPs to make their way in, and we expect that once they come in, the members of the majority side would also make their way into the chamber. Speaker subsequently would come in to chair proceedings for today. So in as much as they have been allowed in, there is still that heavy security presence here just to ensure that we do not have the MPs who were suspended by the speaker for 2 weeks making any entry into the chamber for today's proceedings, as well as for the rest of the days until the 2 weeks ultimatum given by the speaker has elapsed.
Do you see any of the majority MPs present? Do you see any MPs on the NDC side present?
Nana, as it stands now, I haven't seen any of them here. Probably they could be in a caucus meeting. So we are hoping that now that the NPP MPs are making their way into the chamber very soon, they would also come in for sittings to commence for today, because Speaker announced last Friday that sitting would begin at 12 noon today. It's past 12 noon, and lawmakers are now making their way into the parliamentary chamber. Precisely, the NPP MPs are now making their way into the chamber as they are clad in their black attire as well as their red armbands in protest against the suspension of their colleagues. Nana.
What of the four currently on suspension? Have you seen any of them there?
Nana, I haven't cited Wage Agbawe MP Jerry Ahmed Shaib. I haven't seen him here today. I haven't seen Gushegu MP Alhassan Tampoli here today. I haven't seen Frank Anodompre Isawam Aduajiri MP here today, as well as Roxanne Nelson Dafia Mepo, the majority chief whip, as well as the South Dai MP. None of them is currently here. We do not know if they would try making any entry yet, but like I indicated earlier, none of them is here at the moment, Nana.
Right, and this security checks or security arrangements at the entrance of the chamber itself, are the checks being done by the marshals or by these police officers who have been brought in?
Now, this check is being done by the police officers in collaboration with the marshals officials here in Parliament. So it is a joint exercise that is being done here. I have seen Honorable Isaac Adongo, that's a member of Parliament for Waligatanga Central, also making his way into the chamber. He is a member of the majority group. So far, he's the only person that I have seen here at the moment. So just behind me is the marshal officials here in Parliament, making sure that everybody is thoroughly checked before they make their way into the chamber. And this has been done in collaboration with police officials who have been brought in to assist with security here in Parliament today.
These arrangements we are seeing at the entrance of the chamber, this is access for members of Parliament. Are there similar arrangements at the public gallery or the press gallery?
Well, at the press gallery, no. At the public gallery, no. There is nothing like that. But then before you make entry into Parliament itself, there is that heavy security check at the entrance, both at the Castle Road entrance as well as where we have the police post, where lawmakers as well as other entrants also make their way into Parliament through. So there is heavy security presence. We haven't seen this quite in a while. It's not quite normal to see this kind of security here, but today we are seeing it all in a bid to ensure that those that have been suspended, members of parliament for that matter, who have been suspended due to the violent confrontation at the appointments committee, do not make their way here in the chamber today.
Well, final one for you, Nee. I don't know if you have any indication yet as to what time the Speaker will make his way to the chamber for proceedings to start, based on his earlier announcement that the sitting will start today at 12 noon.
Well, as I indicated earlier, 12 noon was what the Speaker advertised, that it would be the commencement of sitting, but it's past 12 and then sitting hasn't started yet. So we are only hoping that any moment from now, either the Speaker himself or the first Deputy Speaker or even the second Deputy Speaker would make a way into the chamber to preside for today's sitting to fall.
Right. Just a quick one, and by way of education. Ordinarily, what will a sitting, the first sitting of the week of the chamber of parliament look like? I'm asking this because with all that the minority has said and their posturing and their addressing, it appears as though this will not be an ordinary sitting.
Well, so what we are expecting is that once the Speaker comes in, we'll see the national pledge being cited. Mostly it is done at the beginning of every week, and then a roll call will be conducted, as well as votes and proceedings. Correction of votes and proceedings for the previous sitting would be done. And then if there is any formal communication by the Speaker, he will do so. And then we would also see that at the commencement of public business, the leadership of the majority side would now direct the Speaker as to how proceedings for today should go. But what we are expecting is that last week, those who were vetted at the appointments committee would have their reports submitted to the House by the appointments committee chairman, that's Bernard Ahiafo, so that the House would debate on the report and subsequently approve them or otherwise. Already, we've heard from some of the minority members who are saying that once the Speaker directed that vetting should be halted and then an engagement should be had with the selection committee to ensure that the appointments committee is reconstituted, they believe that whoever was vetted afterwards was done as a form of illegality. So they are not going to support that. So we'll wait to see how things will turn out in the House today. But once the report is presented by the appointments committee chairman, Bernard Ahiafo, for a debate on it.
Well, thank you very much, Nee. But it appears the majority MPs are now coming in one after the other.
Exactly the case. So like I indicated earlier, we saw Isaac Adongo, who is an NDC MP and a member of the majority group, making his way. And there's been other MPs from the majority side as well, also making their way into the chamber. So we are hoping that, like I said earlier, the Speaker or any of his deputies would come in any moment from now, and then we see the proceedings for today take place. We'll go into the chamber and then see what is also happening in there.
Very well, Nee. Thank you so much. We'll come back to you as and when you are stationed to bring us some more updates regarding today's sitting of Parliament.
The conduct of the Speaker of Parliament as capricious, as dictatorial, and making the point that ultimately this is not a decision that they will want to stand. In fact, we heard the General Secretary did speak, the Deputy General Secretary did speak to us on Joy News and made the point that ultimately they expect that given that in their consideration, this is a completely unconstitutional decision, that this will not stand, and that ultimately the MPs in question will be allowed to come into the chamber. We've seen a perimeter that has been set up right at the entrance that blocks off any person from attempting to come in without due authorization. And so the marshal himself is leading the process with respect to that. But you can see a number of NDC MPs themselves also coming into the chamber. They have about 188 if you add the 187, I should say, if you add the 4 independent MPs that have decided to caucus with them. It is not so much of a packed majority side, but a number of the NPP MPs have come in there. Let me try and see if I can stoke the honest and try and see if I can speak to the very top echelons of the New Patriotic Party who are here to support their caucus and drum home the demand that the Speaker's decision is untenable, and that is not something they will allow to stand. General Secretary, we are live on Joy News. Today you've come in here to support your members of Parliament to make the point about the suspension of the MPs.
Us coming to Parliament is no news. We always come and support our parliamentarians. So it's part of the usual work that we have been doing. So we are here to let them know they have the support of the mother party and we stand with them. Very simple.
That is the General Secretary giving us some word as to why they are here. And he's offered that clarity that, listen, this is part of what they do as leaders. They come in here to support their colleagues and their members of Parliament and make the point that they are always with them. National Chairman, you were also here yesterday at the news conference. You are here again to offer support of your MPs.
Yeah, our support to our members here is unrelenting. We can't afford to leave them come here alone.
Stephen and team there, the national organizer himself, Henry Nanaboachi. I haven't seen you. Your bosses have spoken, so you wouldn't want to say anything. Right. So I've spoken to the chairman. I've spoken to the general secretary. They've come in here where the position why they are here. Ultimately, this is not something that they say they are going to allow to stand. And so, but ultimately, they've offered clarity as to why they are here, to offer support to their MPs who are in black, some of them in red, a few of them, pockets of them, to drum home this point that Alban Bagbin will not be allowed to get away with the decision he has taken. For those of you wondering, Speaker has taken the decision to suspend 4 MPs for their various involvement in the disorder that we saw at the appointment committee last week, Thursday evening, that led to the breaking of tables, the microphones getting destroyed. And the Speaker took that decision the next day. He also set up a 7-member committee chaired by Emmanuel Kwesi-Bajira, 2 from the NPP, 5 from the NDC to investigate this. Tomorrow, they will begin to hold public hearings on this matter and then ultimately bring a report to the floor after 10 days. That is the duration the Speaker of Parliament has given them to do that. But MPP have said that the Speaker of Parliament adopted a procedure that is alien to what they know in Parliament, and that ultimately they consider what the Speaker did as unconstitutional, is a breach of the standing orders. And so yesterday they did send that 5-page memo to Alban Bagbin, asking him to suspend the decision he has taken and allow those members of Parliament to come back to the floor and do and perform their responsibilities as members of Parliament. But following to this, NPP MPs walked in today wearing black in full. A few of them spotted wearing red. They also had red scarves, red armbands to drum home this demand. This led to some little challenge at the entrance because the decision taken by the marshal was that those dressing were not parliamentary and they were not going to be allowed to get in. But ultimately, they struck a compromise and they were allowed to get back into the chamber. So you see them in the chamber now without the scarf, without the armbands, because the agreement was that they will not be allowed. But I saw a number of them put that in their pockets. And so that will mean that ultimately, if they are prompted to, and if they so decide, they will show that up in the chamber to register their strong disapproval of the decision of the Speaker of Parliament. The ball now is in the court of the Speaker. We expect that he will preside over the sitting today. And when he does come in, what decision is he going to take? Is he going to acquiesce to the demand of the minority and lift the suspension, which is expected to be 2 weeks. It's already in its third day today, or that suspension will carry on, and that suspension will be retained up until a point when they suffer the consequence of that. And also when the report of the special committee comes in, the 10 days that has been given them, also in its third day now, will they be able to complete the public hearings tomorrow and put together a report and present to the floor for a decision to be taken on that. And so that is the situation in Parliament. MPP MPs, you see in your short black, registering their strongest opposition to the decision of the Speaker and protesting that decision.
Don't let gaps in your travel insurance spoil your holiday. Go without the doubt. Insure and go. Call 0800 198 0198. Trusted by over 27 million travellers.
Hungry for more? Shop Wayfair for more savings. More selection, more storage, more shapes and more sizes. Still want more? More options for more budgets. Make your dining room more you. Shop dining room furniture and more at wayfair.co.uk.
Just to protest this action taken by the Speaker, Alban Bagbin. There's also heightened security, police presence here, as well as barricades mounted at various points here in Parliament, just to ensure that these lawmakers who were suspended by the Speaker do not make their way into the chamber. So right here is the entrance of the chamber, parliamentary chamber, and these NPP MPs are trying to make their way into the chamber. But then the security here is also trying to ensure that they go in appropriately. But with such huge numbers, they have to go in accordingly. So they are just trying to ensure that we do not have any of those who were actually suspended amongst them. So that is the situation here. The NPP MPs clad in black attire with their red armbands and neck bands, just to protest against the Speaker's suspension of their colleagues. I have with me here the Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Vincent Eko Asifo. I would engage him briefly on what exactly this action seeks to achieve. Honorable, thanks for joining us on our special coverage of this whole ministerial vetting process. We know that last week, Speaker suspended 3 of your colleagues, as well as one of the NDC MPs. Now, this one, we've seen that you are clad in black attire with red armbands and neck armbands. What exactly is the issue today?
The issue here is that we are resisting oppressors' rule. We are creating the awareness to the Ghanaian people that we have a constitutional supremacy. We have a democratic institution. In a democratic Ghana, we do not have a speakership supremacy. We have a constitution that is bigger and powerful and authoritative than any other law in this country. So the Speaker of Parliament cannot be seen to be relying on the subservient law to topple a constitutional provision. Cardinal of this constitution is the fact that there should be fair hearing as far as Article 19 is concerned. Now, fair hearing, inherent in the fair hearing, is the principle of natural justice. where you have to listen to the other side. We are not in any way supporting what happened. We do not. I condemn it in no certain terms. But I'm saying that even in the face of the wrongdoing, proper procedural approach should be adopted so that we know that indeed we are not in a banana state.
Now, your leadership yesterday ferried these concerns to the speaker through a memo. Why don't you wait for the speaker to preside today and then make any consequential orders to that effect rather than resorting to a protest today?
The Speaker of Parliament did not wait to listen to the members of Parliament. We have a lot of options to make sure that the right thing is done, and we are embarking on a number of options that will, as it were, ensure that the right thing is done. The right thing is to allow members of Parliament to represent the people who voted for them. There are thousands of people who voted us here. The anticipation is that we should be able to represent them here on the floor of Parliament, and no one should usurp the powers of these people and stop members from, as it were, going about his business. And so that is why we feel that we should protest for the Ghanaian people to know that what happened on Friday is a bad precedent that we are setting. It's a dark day in the history of this country. It's a dark day in our democratic dispensation. It should not have happened. It happened at a very wrong time, and we feel that what happened is wrong, and for that matter, we should make sure that the people of Ghana actually understands what is happening.
A committee has been set up to investigate this whole incident. Why don't you wait for the committee to commence its sitting, hear from those affected, and then probably an action could be taken than this action?
That by the time that the committee will finish sitting, I'm sure that these people might have served their suspension term. So as I said, even on the floor of Parliament, we will use the legal means. So it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. So you heard Vincent Echo as if we are sharing with us why the minority has today decided to wear black attire and also clad themselves with red armbands as well as neck bands to protest the speaker's directive suspending their colleagues. I would want to try and then engage more of these MPs and find out what they also make. We've seen the first deputy minority whip Habib Idrisu addressing the media. Let's listen to what he has to say.
It is a black day for our democracy if we allow this thing to start.
Finally, who expects your side to approve the ministerial nominees? The reports are ready.
Immediately after the speaker give an order, and then we walk out of the chamber. Any other person who was vetted, it is an illegality because the appointment committee under order 217 was not properly constituted. It was not about quorum issue. It is about being properly constituted because the minority and the majority whip are mentioned in the standing orders to constitute the appointment committee before they come and say that any other member. If you read that standing order very well, it states the first deputy speaker being the chairman, the minority leader being the ranking member, the deputy majority leader being the vice chairman, the majority whip, the minority whip, and 5 other members. So we are not asking about quorum. We are talking about the committee being constituted. And Speaker himself agreed that the committee was not properly constituted. That's why in his directive, he said that the selection committee must meet today to reconsider the appointment committee. By his action, he was convinced that the appointment committee was not properly constituted anymore. And you could see that day they rushed almost every other appointee to be vetted in that illegality. And we will not be part of it. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross the bar. For today, we are registering our displeasure on the suspension of our 3 colleagues. Thank you very much.
So you heard that the first deputy minority whip, Habib Idrisu, speaking to journalists. Let me try and then engage more of these MPs. I've seen here with me Honorable Gloria Owusu. Honorable, you welcome to Channel 1 News. Today you are clad in black attire, so as your colleagues. What exactly is the issue?
We don't know what is happening here. We all know that today we are having sitting at 12 p.m. and we are here. You can see the doors are already closed. So we don't know what is happening.
Has any of the officials of the Marshal Department communicated to you?
No. Our leadership has not communicated anything to us. So we don't know what is happening here. And we don't know what the speaker wants to do. We are members of parliament. We are not criminals. People voted for us. So why are we treating like this?
What is the agenda on the floor of parliament today from your side?
I don't know. We don't have any agenda. What we knew is speaker has suspended 3 of our members. So we don't know the agenda for today. We are coming to our normal sitting.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. So you heard Gloria Usu, who is the MP for Trobo, also speaking to us about why the minority has today decided to wear black attire and also clad themselves in red armbands in protest against the speaker's directive suspending 3 of their colleagues, as well as the majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo.
Hello, Nick. We know that there are 2 main entrances, right, to the parliamentary building itself. The one facing the conference center and the one behind where you have the police post. Describe to us what these 2 entrances look like. I'm asking this because of the barricading we are seeing at the main entrance into the chamber. Is this the same level of security you are seeing at these main entrances or not?
Well, so Nana, as I was coming in this morning, I saw at the entrance, one close to the conference center, that there has been heavy security presence there as well. Barricades have been mounted there. And whenever you get there, there is a thorough check before you are allowed into the precinct of Parliament itself. What I was made to do was to roll down my glasses, the car glasses, to ensure that it is thoroughly checked before I made entry, and all other entrants to Parliament were also made to go through the same procedure. So it is a whole level of security here today just to ensure that there is order to prevent these MPs who have been suspended from making their way into the chamber. I have there with me the MP for Force Ayobi. Let's engage him also on this issue.
I'm black in solidarity with our brothers who Speaker has purported to suspend for 2 weeks. And we have been on record to draw his attention that in line with the standing orders of Parliament, respectfully, the Speaker does not have the power to do that. Even the disciplinary processes, they are laid down rules, either of the 30 to 35 or 129, 130. What he has done is totally ultra-virus, and he doesn't have the powers to do that. And so in solidarity with our brothers, that's why you see us in black.
You've sent a memo through your leader.
That's correct. That is correct.
Is this an additional measure?
Which one?
I'm talking about you clad in black and red. Is this an additional measure?
It's complementary to that, yes.
Now, the vetting process, and somebody will argue that actions and reactions. What happened at the appointments committee shocked many people. Isn't that why the speaker probably behaved the way he behaved?
When a man even steals, scandalized by the theft, he has picked a gun from his holster and has shot the man and killed him. He would have to have the man prosecuted, the threshold for conviction met, a conviction established, and even sentencing has to be done in accordance with the law. So we have not said that Mr. Speaker is unqualified to be angry or is unjustified in his anger. In fact, the committee apologized on Friday morning. What we have said is that Mr. Speaker's suo motu attempt to punish without recourse to the standing orders is what we respectfully disagree with. And when we get into the chamber today, that's what we want to draw his attention to. It's surprising that the marshals don't want to let us into the chamber.
Ordinarily, we shouldn't see you here in this number. But what is preventing you from going in?
The marshals say they are under instructions not to let us in. We are waiting. We've sent our leadership in to find out who's giving this instruction and why. We're waiting. I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours, we'll be here and we'll wait until they open us to go in. Parliament is a house of dialogue where we would have the opportunity to raise the issues and draw Mr. Speaker's attention to the standing orders. And that's the opportunity we're looking for.
You are a lawyer.
is deeply troubling that this is the third time in as many years that such an incident has occurred within the presence of Parliament. Each time, public outrage has been met with empty apologies and no real change in conduct. This House must acknowledge that it is rapidly eroding public confidence in Ghana's democracy, and that such conduct, if not decisively addressed, will have grave consequences for the credibility of Parliament and the future of democracy in our dear nation. Even more alarming is the involvement of some senior members of the House and members in leadership, individuals who ought to embody the principles of leadership and discipline. Their participation in this deplorable spectacle raises serious questions about their fitness to lead and their commitment to upholding the values of Parliament. If members cannot engage in robust debate without resorting to physical aggression, then they are unfit to discharge the mandate bestowed upon them by the people of Ghana. Parliamentary privilege does not and will never extend to lawlessness. The rules of Parliament exist to guide conduct, and members are duty-bound to uphold them. Ghanaian citizens deserve a Parliament that exemplifies discipline, intelligence, and the pursuit of national progress, not one that degenerates into a battleground at the slightest disagreement. The international community is watching us. Our Speaker has received numerous calls from concerned citizens, both in Ghana and outside Ghana, from civil society organizations, from academia, and parliamentary counterparts across the world, all lamenting the disgraceful conduct of members of this House. Today, I welcome my colleague from the Parliament of Morocco. A number of them are here leading delegations to a prosperity dialogue, and they all saw what happened. The Ghana that they are proud of. This unfortunate development is a direct contradiction of the repeated admonitions I have issued to members. Just yesterday, we had an occasion here. Immediately after that, the worst happened. I have consistently reminded this House that respect is earned, not demanded. The manner in which members conduct themselves determines the extent to which they command the respect of the Ghanaian people. Yet, despite these admonitions, some members continue to act in a way that dishonors this House and its traditions. This must stop. Parliament cannot continue to excuse misconduct under the guise of political disagreement. Consequently, the following emergency measures are to be taken with dispatch. 1. The circumstances of the absence of a Privileges and Immunity Committee. In that circumstance, a 7-member special committee shall be constituted under Orders 5 and 20, Rule 4, to conduct a full-scale investigation into the events of yesterday and this morning. The committee shall identify all members involved in the disorder and submit its report with findings and recommendations within 10 days from today. Any member found culpable shall face the appropriate disciplinary actions as prescribed by the Constitution 1992, the Parliament Act of 1965, and the Standing Orders of Parliament. This does not absolve the chairman of the Appointments Committee from performing his duty under Order 268, Rule 3, which says, and I quote, "The chairperson of a committee shall maintain order at a meeting of the committee and decide on each question of order. And A, where a member persists in disorderly conduct, the chairperson may refer the conduct of the member to the House for determination." And so I expect the chairman of the committee to also submit a report to this House. The following members shall constitute the membership of the special committee. I have not consulted any member, and this is a duty no member can fail or decline to perform. The committee is to be chaired by Honorable Emmanuel Bejra. Other members, Honorable Kwame Anyimedu Antwi, Honorable Gisela Akushika Tete Agbotui, Mrs. Honorable Abina Osei Asare, Mrs. Honorable Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, Doctor. Honorable Vincent Opong Asamoah and Honorable Bede Anwatazuma Zeden. That is a 7-member committee. You are to present your report with recommendations within 10 days from today. 2, in pursuant of Section 10 of the Parliamentary Service Act 1993, Act 460, I direct all damage caused within the committee room and parliamentary presence as a result of the misconduct of the members. Not a single pesewa of public funds shall be used to repair or replace any damaged property. Instead, members found responsible shall be surcharged for the full cost of repairs and replacement, with deductions from their emoluments, including the salaries of members if necessary. 3, in pursuance of the provisions of the Constitution 1992 and the standing orders of Parliament, I further direct the clerk to Parliament to formally lodge a complaint with the Ghana Police Service to conduct a full criminal investigation into the matter for appropriate action. 4, I call for an immediate meeting of the Committee of Selection today, to reconstitute the Appointments Committee as a matter of urgency, and to set up the Standing Orders Committee to reconsider a revision of the rules for the assessment of nominees for the consideration and approval by the House. If there is any defect with our rules, we'll rectify them. The scene that we have all witnessed is unpalatable. 5, I draw the attention of members to the sanctions provided for in the Parliament Act and the Standing Orders of Parliament in the event of a breach of privilege or contempt of Parliament under Orders 34(2) and 36. Members may also see Article 123 of the Constitution 1992. Let there be no doubt, Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined, and urgent punitive action has to be taken, since this was done contemptuous parliamenti in facio parlamenti. Consequently, Dr. Amwa, what I said is this: let there be no doubt, Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined, and urgent punitive action has to be taken, since this was done contemptuous parliamenti in facio parlamenti. Consequently, the following members are suspended from the sittings of Parliament for 2 weeks from today. They are 1 and 2, the 2 chief whips, in the persons of Mr. Roxon Nelson Eche, Kwame Dafiamapo, and Mr. Frank Ano Dompre. 3, Mr. Alasan Suleimana Tampuli. And 4, Mr. Jerry Ahmed Shaib. Leaders from the various caucuses should take the consequential actions to continue with their leadership. But the Marshal is hereby directed to ensure the full enforcement of this suspension in accordance with the rules of the House. As Speaker, I reaffirm my commitment to restoring the dignity of this House. The people of Ghana deserve a parliament that exemplifies leadership, integrity, and discipline. Members must reflect deeply on their conduct and be reminded that they hold their seats in trust for the people. The events of 30th January 2025 and this morning must not be repeated. If not, the full rigors of the law will be applied. This is just the beginning. And members must know that you can be expelled as a member of parliament by parliament. In conclusion, I am deeply disappointed by the conduct of members involved in this shameful episode. Their actions have brought disrepute to Parliament and undermined the democratic values we have sworn to uphold. I wish to extend my sincere apologies to the Ghanaian people for this national embarrassment and assure them that this House will not allow such an incident to recur. Parliament must and will do better. I call on all members to reflect on their actions, uphold the dignity of this institution, and recommit themselves to the principles of democracy and responsible leadership. With this, I thank all of you for your attention. Honorable members, other measures will be taken after the Committee of Selection has held its meeting. And as I indicated, the meeting of the Committee of Selection is today. It's being chaired by my good self. And I'm expecting members in my conference room to hold the meeting immediately I decline from this seat.
The nominee for health is seated in the nominees chair
item 6
and was waiting to be sworn in for his vetting, and then hell broke here at the appointments committee rooms 1 and 2 here in Parliament, because the majority members refused to go ahead with the vetting on the committee, pulling and pushing the tables over here. It's all chaos here in the House. It's all chaos. We got indication that there was agreement to do 4 vettings today. The Honorable Minister Designate for Labor, Jobs and Employment, Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpo, the Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, the Minister Designate for Environment, Science and Technology, Samuel Nati George, and then Kofi Adams. So that was the indication we got in the morning that was the agreement between the majority and minority members to go on and do the vetting for those ministers.
The minority leader, Alexander Kwenyomaken, criticized the Speaker's decision, accusing him of exceeding his jurisdiction and violating the rights of the affected MPs.
The chair of the committee did not communicate anything to the Speaker. Neither did the Speaker invite any of us in leadership for any discussion. In any event, even where there is punishment, our rules are clear. It can be for 4 days, 8 days, or 12 days according to Order 130. Can a judge shoot a thief on the streets merely because it is viewed that the person has stolen without taking him through the process of evidence gathering? He's taking actions that have affected the rights of our colleagues in Parliament. And we believe that the right thing to do is to grant these affected members hearing.
Meanwhile, the minority caucus has
The best way to start investing is with XTB because their money works for you as active or passive.
This mighty few, this happy few, will not allow itself to be intimidated. We will never surrender to any intimidation. All the issues that are being thrown at us are aimed at cowing us. None of it will work. For the record, this is the first time in the history of our Fourth Republic that a minority in Parliament is allowing a government to form, appoint its ministers in record time. For emphasis, we've been most cooperative with the NDC majority, but they are bullies. They bully, they intimidate, and if you don't stand strong, they will bully you, and we will never be bullied.
Akwenyomaken also reiterated the caucus's concerns over what he described as the partisan nature of the clerk to the appointments committee.
The clerk to the committee is a partisan clerk. She is not a neutral professional clerk. She's caused us a lot of discomfort. We have tolerated, accommodated her. At this point, it's getting out of hand. She advertises at midnight. As a minority leader, I am to know those to be vetted the next day ahead of time. He doesn't share that with us. A lot of times I have to manage the pain, the frustration of my members, and take responsibility.
In response to the incident, the special committee established by the Speaker has announced that it will begin a public hearing on the matter from Wednesday, February 5, 2025.
We are to conduct a full-scale investigation into the event of Thursday, 30th January, and the morning of 31st January. 2. Identify all members involved in the disorder and submit a report with findings and recommendations. To do this, the committee wishes to announce that we have decided to hold a public hearing of all the issues starting from Wednesday.
The ad hoc committee is set up to investigate the violent confrontation that marred the ministerial vetting process at the appointments committee last week. Says it will rely on evidence from the public to assist its work. For Channel 1 News from
So you found an awesome job post, but your resume is outdated? No worries. With Adobe Acrobat Pro.
Ratio of 1/3. All the subject committee members are incorporated for the purposes of it. If I may just, so Chairman, if I may just get your standing orders. If you look at Order 64, you realize they talk about the quorum issue and whether you are using the original members in determining the quorum or you are using subject members to do.
You think you are partisan clever engagement? Honourable members, can there be some order? If the clerk thinks that she's a party clerk, she will see if the clerk is the community thing, she will do NBC thing. She will see how it goes. Yes. If the clerk to Parliament, there was a call for a meeting. There was a call for a meeting for us to engage in that. We all agree to have a meeting this morning. We are waiting to have a meeting so that we can know who said we are against first. They know the clerk. When we were in power, you would insist that until you get the minority, you won't call a meeting. You don't even notify us. You are doing your party business. Do this clerk. Is that a way of civil service? It's a shame on you. Do this clerk. It's a shame on you. Do this clerk. If you want to persuade Parliament, we will spare you. Do this clerk. Do this clerk. Do this clerk. We all agree. We are not against your government. We are not against your government. But we cooperate for the meeting. You should defend us for the meeting. You should defend to us. You should defend to us. We will help you. We have helped you. We are ready to help you. Don't mistreat us. Don't mistreat us. The fact that we are a minority, don't mistreat us. We have helped you. No opposition ever helped a government to form a government as quickly as possible this time. What else should we do? And you this partisan track. When I was majority leader, you insist that the minority must be here. Today, you call for a meeting without us. You think we are going to quiet? A shame on you. Shame
Some more PLC at the appointment committee again. The vetting has started. The nominee, Kwabena Minta Akando, had taken his seat. In fact, he had been asked to introduce himself. He had done that. And the chairman had read a statement apologizing for what happened yesterday and taking responsibility. And then the NPP MPs walked in, saying that they're not going to allow the vetting process to go on until there's a committee meeting, and that the clerk to the committee should have invited a committee, and in fact they had notified them that they needed a committee meeting to happen, for which reason without that they are not going to allow the process to happen. And by clerk, the clerk you are hearing is the clerk to the committee. The clerk to the committee is almost like the administrative head of the committee. He's supposed to write the report, he's supposed to undertake certain administrative processes that are necessary to enable the vetting go ahead. The clerk himself, that is the clerk to parliament, that is the overall head of the parliamentary service. Ebenezer Huma Jetro is the one you will see behind the chairman of the committee wearing an African print and trying to calm things down.
You mastered your mind.
Through some nominees and railroad them through a rubber stamp process. We are also beginning to observe a breakdown of security, law and order within the precincts of Parliament, and especially last night at the committee room by some Indeed, yesterday night we saw verbal attacks on us, and it took the vigilance of the police to escort us out of the chamber. We commend the police for what they did last night in ensuring law and order, and we urge them to continue their good work. We are also concerned about the attempt by the majority to disregard pre-sitting agreement on a number of nominees to appear before the appointments committee. Indeed, this is what led to last night's situation. Yesterday, there was an agreement to have only 3 nominees for the day. They later changed it to 4. We agreed, and later requested for a 5th nominee, only to realize that after the 5th nominee, the NDC has smuggled Mr. Okujeto Ablakwa into the committee room. He came fully dressed with his wife and other family members, and he was forcing his way to take his seat. Not only him, There were other regional minister nominees who had not been programmed, but they had forced them into the committee sitting room. Their plan was to use their so-called supermajority to intimidate us. The NDC must know here and now that they won an election, and that election they won, they are to govern together with us. We will not allow them to use their so-called majority to force their way. It won't happen. In fact, we are not going to boycott any proceedings. Boycott is not part of us.
At all.
We will stay in and protest, and they will not have their way. But I want to assure them that because we have been in government before and we know governance, we will not obstruct government business. We are further concerned about the breakdown of security within the precinct of Parliament and the way strangers feel emboldened. NDC, know that Parliament is not an extension of your party offices where you allow vandalism. You bring your party foot soldiers here to cause confusion. If today you are unleashing them on us, tomorrow when these boys are hungry and angry, they will come after you. It's not a prophecy. It's a reality. We cannot be intimidated even as we perform our legitimate constitutional mandate. And we caution the parliamentary service led by the clerk to Parliament and his able marshal to urgently step up security within the precinct of Parliament and protect the minority to enable us do our work. It will be an eyesore to witness supporters of the minority also invade Parliament House to provide security for our side. Our members are asking us questions, but we keep assuring them that we are a party of law and order. We believe in the police, and we know the police can do a good job. We are fortified by the conventions of the House, which have provided ranking members of committee the opportunity to inquire deeply into every nominee of the president without limit to questions. Since 1993, ranking members have always been given an unlimited opportunity. Why is it that when it gets to Afenyo Market, the NDC would want to frustrate the process? In any event, it is not every nominee that I question. This morning, the nominee for Ministry of Health, we spent only 30 minutes. So the nominees themselves should know that they are now coming into public office. Their conduct, their humility, their conduct will help matters. If you have a nominee who is so arrogant, so partisan, so disrespectful, so deceptive, so dishonest, you don't expect us to spend 5 minutes. Those who come and prepare well and know their brief and show us respect, we also reciprocate. Not those who would come and be insulting and abusing the Chief Justice of the Republic, the former president of the land, and you expect us to clap for them and take tea with them. We will not. I'm therefore cautioning the chair of the committee not to yield to those extremists who are pushing him to assert his authority because he's weak. The chair of the committee should know that we respect him. But I must also be quick to commend Honorable Mahama Yariga. He has shown leadership. His diplomacy is at its all-time best. He's done well. His engagement, the transparency he has introduced, should it continue, would have a very peaceful parliament. How he engages us is the way to go in this parliament. But to my respected friend, Roxanne Eche Dafiamopo, if he thinks that he is still in opposition and he would be a bully, then he would meet his meter. Dafiamopo has gained notoriety of shouting, yelling, undermining his own chairman, interrupting proceedings, undermining his own majority leader, and he describes himself as the avant-garde of the government. Really, is he the first majority chief whip? The majority chief whip role is to be a key negotiator. He should be a diplomat in the chamber. And his job is not to fight. If he did so successfully in opposition, now he is in government. So President Mahama and his government may have to rethink their choice of Roxanne Eche Dafiamopo as their majority chief whip. Throughout the approval process, the NDC has never marshaled its numbers in the chamber. They claim that they are a majority. Every single day we come into the chamber, we count them. The average number they have ever had in the chamber has been 92. It was only on one occasion that they had 104. So it has always taken our side to add up to their side to make the number to take government business through. So they should be humble enough to cooperate than that attempt to bully us. It will not happen. We would urge them to continue to respect the conventions and arrangements associated with the process of vetting. And if they do so, we'll cooperate with them. Now the clerk to the committee. This clerk to the committee has shown her colors that she is of the NDC stock. We are going to officially write to the clerk to Parliament to withdraw this lady from the appointment committee. And that lady must either resign as a parliamentary staff or change her posture without delay. When we were in government, this lame clerk will insist that the minority must have its say, read through reports before it is signed by the chair. This same clerk today will advertise those who have been scheduled for vetting at midnight without notice to us as minority. Report gets signed, and the first time the minority will see the report will be on the floor. The practice has been that I would see the draft, go through, share my concerns before it is signed. But on a number of occasions, I try to engage quietly to resolve these things. Not even once has this NDC clerk brought a report to my attention. This morning, after all her numerous sins, she committed another grave sin this morning again. We were in Parliament as early as 8 o'clock to have our caucus meeting. When we're done, the majority chief whip reached out to the chief whip of our caucus.
I used to think high quality refurbished tech was so out of reach.
As a freelancer, I always used to be worried about not being.
The security leader himself called me that he was on his way and that the meeting should be held in his office. Whilst waiting, we now saw the NDC caucus commencing the vetting. And this same clerk, without reaching out to us, administered the oath. What an irresponsible clerk we have. What an unprofessional clerk we have. What a partisan clerk we have. She must be ashamed of herself and ashamed of her profession as a parliamentary service staff. We will not spare her. We will go all out to deal with her in accordance with law if she will not change. Our parliament boasts of mature conventions and practices, and this we have navigated all these years. We would urge our colleagues one more time to cooperate with us. We want to assure the people of Ghana that we are acting in good faith. We want to support the government and be constructive, but we will not allow ourselves to be bullied. We are the mighty few. Mighty minority. Mighty minority. We are the mighty few. We will not surrender. We will not give up. And we know that God willing, fortune will smile at us come 2028. We are the new patriotic party. We are the new patriotic party. The elephant, we shall win, Ghana. The elephant, we shall win, Ghana. We shall win, we shall win. Ghana, we shall win, Ghana. We shall
Want to earn cryptocurrency?
Order to prevent these MPs who have been suspended from making their way into the chamber. I have there with me the MP for Force Ayubi. Let's engage him also on this issue.
Black in solidarity with our brothers who Speaker has purported to suspend for 2 weeks. And we have been on record to draw his attention that in line with the standing orders of Parliament, respectfully, the Speaker does not have the power to do that.
Attention car owners, there's a free tool right here that could get you thousands of pounds in compensation. You see,
5 or 129 130. What he has done is totally ultra virus, and he doesn't have the powers to do that. And so in solidarity with our brothers, that's why you see us in black.
You've sent a memo through your leader.
That's correct. That is correct.
Is this an additional measure?
Which one?
I'm talking about you clad in black and red. Is this an additional measure?
It's complementary to that, yes.
Now, the vetting process, and somebody has to argue that actions and reactions. What happened at the appointments committee shocked many people. Isn't that why the Speaker probably behaved the way he behaved?
When a man even steals and a judge is present, the judge cannot say because he is scandalized by the theft, he has picked a gun from his holster and has shot the man and killed him. He would have to have the man prosecuted, the threshold for conviction met, a conviction established, and even sentencing has to be done in accordance with the law. So we have not said that Mr. Speaker is unqualified to be angry or is unjustified in his anger. In fact, the committee apologized on Friday morning. What we have said is that Mr. Speaker's suo motu attempt to punish without recourse to the standing orders is what we respectfully disagree with. And when we get into the chamber today, that's what we want to draw his attention to. It's surprising that the marshals don't want to let us into the chamber.
Yeah, ordinarily, we shouldn't see you here in this number. But what is preventing you from going in?
The marshals say they are under instructions not to let us in. We are waiting. We've sent our leadership in to find out who's giving this instruction and why. We're waiting. I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours. We'll be here and we'll wait until they open us to go in. Parliament is a house of dialogue where we would have the opportunity to raise the issues and draw Mr. Speaker's attention to the standing orders. And that's the opportunity we're looking for.
by the Constitution 1992, the Parliament Act 1965, Act 300, the Standing Orders of Parliament, and the Code of Conduct for Members of Parliament of Ghana. I make this statement with a very heavy heart and righteous anger. I am so shocked and very scandalized at what I saw and heard through various media outlets. So what happened at the sittings of the Appointments Committee yesterday, the 30th of January 2025, and this morning. Today, I read the views and reports of our brothers and sisters of the media as what took place at the first sittings of the committee. The outrage of the public and the people who represent and serve is apt and understandable. What should have been a solemn exercise in parliamentary scrutiny degenerated into an appalling display of chaos and lawlessness, bringing this House into disrepute before the entire world. What transpired was not just a gross affront to the dignity of Parliament, but also a blatant contempt of the House. This further aggravates the already existing low level of trust of Parliament and parliamentarians. I have the unfortunate burden of responding to the disgraceful and deeply regrettable events that unfolded during the Appointments Committee. Such behavior is utterly unacceptable and a direct affront to the dignity of this House. The actions of those involved have sullied the image of Parliament and also betrayed the trust of the Ghanaian people, whose expectations of leadership, decorum, and responsible conduct with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, we move straight away to item 6, correction of votes and proceedings and official report. Honorable members, I recall we did not correct the votes and proceedings of Thursday. Thursday fell on the, was it 24th January 2025. So I wanted to start from that. You have copies?
Mr. Speaker, I can see electronic versions of the votes and proceedings for Friday, 31st of January 2020.
I'm sure the one also on last week Thursday will be on your screens. Maybe how to access it will be your challenge. But I agree we can start with the votes and proceedings of Friday, 31st January 2025. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, please, I was present, but my name is captured under absent. That is item number 2 under 4. Ado Kenneth Daniel Nana Okre. Thank you.
Table office kindly take note of that. Page 7. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, item number 28 on page 7. My name has been captured under members who were not present, but I duly sought leave of absence from my whip. So with your permission, I would like my name to be reflected under members who were absent with permission. Thank you.
That is item 4 at page 6. Under that 20, that is a member for Nkoko. Am I right?
28, Mr. Speaker.
28.
Member for Kwabre East.
Kwabre East. Onyina Achampon, Akwasi Jemfi.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
According to you, you obtained permission from your whip.
That's right, Mr. Speaker.
Check your standing orders. Whether
Mr.
it's your PIP that should
Mr. Speaker,
grant you permission to absent yourself.
Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, yes, I duly filled the leave of absence form and handed it over to my whip as per the standing order 15.
I say check your standing orders. We don't have evidence that you were granted permission to absent yourself. So you did that at your own risk. Page 7, page 8. Page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Page 12, item 3. Further down, XII, in attendance, Dr. Freche Asamoah has been captured again under page 13 because item 3 is together both at page 12 and page 13. When you go to page 13, it will be captured again under XXXIV.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Member. There's a repetition there. Table office kindly take note of that. Now, page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Please, on page 16, under LXX, Nana Kobna Inketia, they made it Inkotia. And he's also the Omahini of Esikado traditional area, not Usikado. So if table office can take notice. Thank you.
Honorable Member, thanks so much. Table office kindly take note. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, on page 19, I just want to seek clearance from you and your guidance, because if you look at item 2 on the appointment committee attendance, you see members' names mentioned, and then 3 in attendance. And then my name is captured in attendance, but I was there under order 2177 of our standing orders, where a member of the leadership of the House is entitled to participate in the proceedings of the committee during the consideration of nominee for appointment. So are we attending or in attendance?
You quoted order 2. Order 217.
Yeah, 2177. But I've been guided by my leader, Mr. Speaker. So I withdraw that.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This is an insane website for Amazon resellers that feels illegal to know. It's a wholesale plan.
Who were in the chamber, and it doesn't appear on the appointments committee either. So I seek your guidance for correction. So I call on the table office to correct it. Thank you.
Which page are you talking about? Page 19?
Sorry.
Page 19.
No, 12.
Page 12.
Yes.
Page 12 captures the
12 and 19.
names
12
of the
and 19.
nominees, the minister designates, and page 19, those in attendance, that's item 2, and your name is VIII.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm making reference to page 12.
Page 12.
Yes. Members present.
Oh, you're taking us back to page 12.
Yes. Sorry.
Mini page.
Yes, table office, kindly take note of that. That is at page 12. That's the Monday, 27th January 2025 meeting of the Appointments Committee. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, please can I take you back to page 7? Item 26. I
Yes,
was
please.
present but marked absent.
You are?
I was present. Albert Nyakote. Item 26.
Nyakote Albert Tete.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yilo Krobo.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Table office, kindly take note. Page 20. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On page 19, under 3 in attendance, VII, it should read Mrs. Abna Osei Asari, not Miss. Thank you.
Is she present? I want to know whether she's present, so I'll be sure whether she writes Miss or Mrs.
Mr. Speaker, it's always been Mrs.
But you didn't object to it? Or it meant that you were not focused on it?
I guess so.
Table office kindly capture the correct rendition. The title is Mrs. Page 20, page 21, page 22. Yes, please.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Page 22, item numbered LXVIII. Mr. Kojo Jekedaku, member, Elections Directorate, National Democratic Congress. His Kojo is spelled KWADWO, not KOJO. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
So his is Kwajo. Kwajo. Table office, kindly take note of that. Page 23. Page 24. Page 25. Page 25, yes.
Right Honorable Speaker. On page 25, I remember on that day, I was a part of the committee. I had the opportunity to even ask Honorable Mutala some questions, but I've realized that my name doesn't show as appearing. And so if the table office can correct that for me. My name is John Darko.
Yes, table office, kindly take note. Page 26, page 27, page 28. Honorable members, the votes and proceedings of the 10th sitting dated Friday, 31st January 2025, as corrected, is adopted as a true record of proceedings. I'm sure you now have copies of the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 30th January 2025. Very short one, page 1, page 2, page 3. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Please, we don't have, for me, okay, at my end, I can't find it on the system, and then we don't also have a hard copy. Neither a hard copy or a soft copy to review. That's the Thursday.
You can't find your name?
No, we don't have it in the system, the computer, or it's not available for us to review.
It's not the votes and proceedings of
the Thursday.
No. Well, then we'll leave that until the right time when members have copies. So, honorable members, let's take the official report of Friday, 24th January 2025. Any corrections? Honorable members, in the absence of any correction, the official report of Friday, 24th January 2025 is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. Honorable members, we move to item 7, statements. I have an indication from the leadership of the House that the minority leader will be making a statement. And I think this is the appropriate time for him to make the statement before we move to your statements. So please, minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this treasure space to make this statement before you and my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, as captured in the vote and proceedings of Friday, the 31st of January, paragraph 5 and page 7, you had cause to deliver a formal communication. With communication, you outline your displeasure on matters at the appointment committee on the evening of Thursday, the 30th of January, and the morning of Friday, the 31st of January. Mr. Speaker, indeed, your response to the event as a leader and the head of this assembly was indeed timely to assure the public that indeed this House is ready to uphold democracy and to do what is right in the eyes of the public. That notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, I had ferried to your office a memo.
Some of the most brilliant minds in business. No, not you.
Head of February 2025, where I raised some procedural concerns regarding the outcome of your communication. Mr. Speaker, to couch the matters that arose in proper perspective, on the said day, the Thursday, the 30th of January, as per the practice, we had agreed.
If you've been wearing glasses more than 5 years, stop scrolling. We're looking for people in the UK.
We're supposed to do 3. This 4 later changed to 5. Around about 10 p.m. of the evening, we had indications from our colleagues in the majority that they intend to continue the vetting for more nominees rather than agreed. Mr. Speaker, on the corridors of the vetting room were many people, including nominees. Our understanding was that they had all been invited. Mr. Speaker, there was no room for us to discuss the way forward, which resulted in our decision as the minority to protest. Our intention was to have a peaceful protest to express our displeasure at the excesses of our colleagues in the majority. We acknowledge that in the process, the situation got out of hand, resulting in the outcome you commented upon. We hereby assure you that we shall, as the minority, cooperate with you in upholding the integrity and the dignity of this House. Mr. Speaker, we also want to assure you that we will undertake a deeper, and emphasis mine, a deeper consultation and commit to this with our colleagues. Suffice to state that from day one that Mr. President started ferrying his nominees to this House, we have given this government our utmost cooperation. Mr. Speaker, record will have it that this is the first time in the history of our democracy that the minority has given the government such a cooperation to the extent that nominees are getting their confirmation in record time. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, I am on record to have made an application to this House under Order 3. This has never happened by any minority leader in the history of our democracy. We believe in constructive criticism. We are not in any way in to disrupt government business, frustrate them, or undermine them. Both parties have been in government before and have been in opposition before. We know that it is not through disruption that would win us power come 2028. It is through active, constructive politicking. Mr. Speaker, we have become aware of the consequences of orders you have issued as a result of the formal communication you have given. But this is what we have to say. And I quote from Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. Mr. Speaker, you remember the story of Shylock when he demanded his pound of flesh. A plea came from Portia, who was the supposed counsel for the debtor. Mr. Speaker, this is what he had to say, and I rely on it to mount the next line of my submission. That the quality of mercy is not strained, drop it as a gentle rain from heaven upon the earth beneath. It is twice blessed. It blessed him that gives and him that takes. Mr. Speaker, we cannot take your power to discipline from you. But we believe that when this is tempered with assurance that the way forward will be better, you will be able to reinstate our colleagues who temporarily have been denied access to this chamber and the precincts of Parliament. Ours is not to undermine your authority. After all, it is the confidence we had in you that made us, by consensus, to vote you into office. And we accept your authority. Mr. Speaker, we do not think that we should litigate this matter even on procedure. We are more interested in the outcome, which is not a desired outcome. Today, I, on behalf of my caucus, would want to assure the public that such an action will not be seen in the public space again. Mr. Speaker, I take full responsibility as a leader on my side on all actions that took place. I will therefore conclude by inviting you, Mr. Speaker, to, in the circumstance and with assurances given, to consider a rescission of the decision you communicated to the House, as well as all consequential matters thereto. Mr. Speaker, without more, I shall thank you for hearing me and resume my seat. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I believe this statement may need your comments. And depending on how you want it to be handled, I would prefer it's handled at the leadership level and not beyond that. But this is your house, and not only my house. I am duty bound to maintain law and order. And so I will allow the majority leader to have a say on this matter.
Mr. Speaker, the popular saying is that to err is human. To forgive is speakerly. Mr. Speaker, as you can see, I have replaced divine with speaker. That elevates you to an almost godly stature. My colleague, the minority leader, has spoken. He has recounted the happenings of Thursday and Friday. So, Speaker, it is a fact that the first time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nominated the first time the first set of ministerial nominees were announced was on the 9th of January 2025. Today, Mr. Speaker, is the 4th of February 2025. We are not yet even 1 month into the administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But, Mr. Speaker, we have vetted and approved a number of ministers, but overall, we have vetted and by the close of today, would have approved 42 ministerial nominees out of 60. The reason why we are even at 42 is because since Friday, we have not yet received any additional nominations. So in effect, we have finished vetting and hope to conclude the approval of 42 nominees to ministerial appointments. As a matter of fact, all those who have been nominated to serve as the cabinet of the government have actually been vetted and some approved by this House. This is a record performance that this House should be proud of itself.
As a freelancer, I always used to be worried about not being able to afford the latest tech for my job.
But then I found Back Market.
Part of the theatrics and the drama with the cooperation and support of our colleagues on the minority side. If in the process there have been some incidents, they are regrettable. And so, Mr. Speaker, I will support the appeal of my colleague, the minority leader, that you temper justice with mercy. I agree that your decision to suspend some colleagues was timely, and I believe that It has been understood by the generality of Ghanaians as a step that restored the image of this parliament. And so, Mr. Speaker, I believe that your action has achieved its objectives. But as you can see, our colleagues are remorseful. Our colleagues accept your decision in good faith. And our colleagues are appealing to you to review your decision to suspend your suspension, to reconsider your decision to suspend. Mr. Speaker, it is not only members of the minority side that were suspended. In fact, the chief whip of the majority side was also suspended. So clearly, the conduct was on both sides. And I also, on behalf of my side, appeal to you to reconsider your decision and lift the suspensions so that our colleagues can join us, whilst the other measures that you are putting in place so that long term we can ensure the orderly conduct of business in this House is achieved. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I'm sure the first thing you have realized is that I've restored the title honorable. The day I read my former communication to you and proceeded to suspend the 4 members, I never used the term honorable. I have done so now because your leaders actually came to me to plead that I temper justice with mercy. If any of you here is not remorseful, please be on your feet. Honorable members, honorable member, you are not, please. Honorable member. Honorable members, is important, is very, very important. And I can tell you, I understand and appreciate what is happening. This house is often referred to as a house of might and majesty. Might, because it's the combination of the sovereignty of all the people in the country. Majesty, because the king or queen is part of the house. And therefore, there can be no power higher than that of Parliament. And the person who represents Parliament is the Speaker. And so I sit here and I exercise your powers, and I create an environment for you to be able to perform your function. And I go according to the rules. You can disagree with the Speaker, and the rules and the laws of Ghana permit you to do so, and also details out the procedure on how to handle the disagreement. But the rules are very clear as to what they refer to as disorder or contempt of Parliament. And for me to preserve and uphold that might, majesty, and dignity of the House, I should not shed any responsibility in applying and enforcing the rules. And that was exactly what I did. Even though some of the members are my personal friends, I refer to as sons. So please, you can ask your leaders when they approach me with this. Yes, as a father, when your son commits an offense, you don't punish the son to the extent that you break his or her leg. That becomes a big problem for you, the father. And nobody is perfect. We are all fallible. So I listened to the apology, and here it was repeated by the minority leader for and on behalf of the members of the caucus, and supported by the majority leader. It's not only words. Before me, they demonstrated and assured me of their total support to me and the deputy speakers to ensure that we have an efficient and an effective functioning parliament in Ghana. So I am satisfied with not just the statement, but also their conduct. And I will proceed to lift the suspension of the 4 members of Parliament that I considered were involved in disorderly conduct, which amounted to contempt. The rules are very clear, and I did refer to them and stated clearly that because we are in the transitional mood, we will not be able to put committees in place, including that of the privileges, and Immunities Committee. And the standing orders grant me the power and authority to do what I did. And clearly, the jurisprudence are very clear that when contempt is committed in facie curia, you don't proceed to set up another committee or court or whatever to investigate and submit a report. And so I referred to the one in Parliament. My very good honorable member, you are at liberty, even after this, to proceed anywhere.
Imagine entering your name and a few details, and all of a sudden, all of your car finance agreements that you had between two.
But that's where I was farming for many years before I became a member of Parliament. So I have lifted the suspension order, and I do so instantly, and it takes effect immediately. The honorable members so affected are permitted now to enter the presence of the House. I must say that they complied. They actually complied with the orders. And the standing orders are clear. And presence of Parliament is defined. And we have the men and women to enforce the law. And they actually did enforce the law. So I want to commend the members and also the law enforcement agencies, Marshal's Department, the police service, for their support. Let me once again assure the House of my commitment to upholding the dignity of this House. All of you seated here, I am responsible for upholding your rights and protecting all of you. And those who have felt the branches of the law, honorable member, when it is before me, nobody can save you. When it's outside, you can run to me, I will go and save you. And you can ask your colleagues. A lot has come before me, and I've always intervened, both sides, to protect the members and to save them. You can ask all the state agencies involved. And so it's not restricted to any side, both sides, all members. Those of you who don't know it, that's why I'm drawing your attention to it. When you get into any of those challenges and you draw the attention of the office of the Speaker intervenes. And by law, you are protected. There is a procedure we use to do that. We are not above the law, not at all. But there is a procedure because it's not you. You now represent a whole constituency, large number of men and women, children, elderly people. That is why you are made of now, not as individuals. And the rights of all that group cannot be taken for granted. So please, we do so without fear or favor. But let me say that I have read some media reports that some members of the House have referred to me as headmaster, treating honorable members like students. I reject that assertion. But I can assure you that when there are students, there must be a headmaster. If you don't have a headmaster, you know what is going to happen in the school. The former Minister of Education is nodding his head. But I'll end by saying this, which is better captured in Latin. It says, qui multum datum. It's very simple. To whom much is given, much is expected. And so you are not called honorable for nothing. They expect so much from you. And don't forget that there's life after Parliament. With this, I want to thank all of you for your attention. And I promise you, the investigations will continue. The report will be brought to the House. The House will have an opportunity to take a decision. That is the procedure outlined by our rules, by our practice, and by custom and convention of the House. That will be done. Honorable members, self-regulation is better than external regulation. And so, please, this matter should be handled by the special committee at the committee level and report to us. I've told the leaders to make themselves available to the committee and to state exactly what happened, because one, nothing but facts, nothing but the truth, so that we can apply the rules correctly. I urge the committee not to make it a matter of public debate. What you know here is not known by the public. What you do here is also not known by the public. And so when you rush to the public, one word can confuse the whole country. But that word will be understood differently in this House. We still have a lot of work to do with our partners outside this House. A matter of education, a matter of advocacy, and we'll focus on it. So I thank you all, and please, let's continue to work together as a family. Thank you so much. I'm just being informed that the leaders want to say a word or two. And so, once again, Minority Leader, you can start.
Mr. Speaker, I convey the gratitude of the Minority Caucus on your final decision in these matters. We reiterate our continuous cooperation and believe that the gesture thus far shown by you and that of my respected senior colleague and senior at the bar who leads the House, we will make things better and that we would have a big stomach to accommodate ourselves, especially we sitting to your left, the minority. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, today I'm taking lessons in humility. My brother and colleague, the minority leader, is teaching me how to be humble. Mr. Speaker, we thank you very much for your magnanimity and considering our appeals and lifting the suspension on our colleagues. We want to assure you that we will be of good behavior going forward, and your appointments committee, I believe, will function in a better atmosphere. Mr. Speaker, there are a few other things that I will bring to your attention. In his statement, he drew attention to the organization of the security around where the appointments committee sits. He also drew attention to the corridor and how members of the appointments committee feel uncomfortable about the numbers that show up at the sitting of the appointments committee, and how sometimes it can get congested and the pressures exerted by nominees. And then also some of the challenges. I think the part of the challenge was the fact that on the Wednesday, when they were supposed to sit, due to a decision to hear some contempt matters before them, they shifted a few more nominees to the day after. And so there was a lot of pressure on the Thursday, and that affected the crowds that showed up and the urge to try and approve and vet as many nominees as possible. So, Mr. Speaker.
Guys, wait, important message. First of all, I'm Rory Reid, and you're watching Auto Trader. Here's why.
To set aside the suspension of our colleagues. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, let me also on your behalf thank our leaders for leading us to solve this problem. I was going to make a very lengthy statement on the other incident affecting the clerk to the committee. In view of what has happened, I will summarize it. I won't go through the whole hog. I did indicate this to the leaders, and in fact, I read through it to them, and I think that it's important. I draw the attention of members to the salient points, and particularly our partners, the public, to what is expected of all of us when we are dealing with the staff. This is the law, it's in the Constitution, it's in the Acts, and it's in our standing orders. Once again, I make this statement to address conduct of some members of the Appointments Committee at a recent committee meeting and on various media space in the country. You recall the incident that we just referred to in what the majority leader referred to as an application for bail, and how it's usually submitted by counsels before a court. After my statement that day, that was Friday, my attention was drawn to this incident. And as the Speaker of the House and Chairman of the Parliamentary Service Board, I strongly condemn that incident. The clerk to the Appointments Committee is a public servant and should not be dragged into the failure of the members of the committee to resolve their differences. This clerk has worked with us for 19 good years, and she is one of the best clerks that we have had. Please, you can check from former members of parliament, and she's been at that committee for some time now, not just now. As clearly stated in the standing orders of parliament, a clerk to a committee is the administrative head of the secretariat of the committee and is the procedural and technical advisor to the chair and the committee. By the provisions of Order 2663 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, a committee to which a business has been referred shall meet to consider the business on the day and the hour determined by the chairperson of the committee with respect to that business. That is Order 2663 of our standing orders. It is thus the duty of the clerk to the committee to transmit the notice of the meeting in accordance with the instructions of the chair and the provisions of Order 2701B. Therefore, any displeasure by a member on the date, hour, or business for consideration at a committee ought to properly be directed at the chair and not the clerk to the committee, who is duty-bound under the said order to transmit notices and to organize the meeting. The standing orders of the House are very clear. Clerks to committees do not convene meetings. Chairs of committees do. A clerk to a committee transmits notice of a meeting that has been called by a chair so motu or acting on the request of 15% of members of the committee. I refer to the orders 2663 and 271B. The clerk thus works to the chair as the clerk to parliament works to the speaker. The clerk to a committee is the principal advisor to the committee, just as the clerk to parliament is the principal advisor to the speaker. Even if the clerk had erred, subjecting her to public ridicule and humiliation, where she had no opportunity to respond, was entirely inappropriate. Where an error is alleged to have occurred, we must be civil and careful in drawing the attention of the appropriate authorities to it, and not fall for the temptation to drag the name of an officer into disrepute. While I advise members to use only the laid-down hierarchy and procedures to resolve any grievance that may arise, in relation to an officer or a department of the service, I also call on the chairs of the committees to, as a matter of urgency, ensure a strict adherence to the standing orders of Parliament and to maintain law and order at committee meetings. Honorable members, in spite of your numbers, you are not to oppress the minority. I don't know how many of you are old enough to collect the boxer called Sule Shitu. You are old enough to recollect Sule Shitu. He was a very brilliant boxer, very slippery. But he was what? Featherweight. Very light, nimble-footed. And he thought he was strong. One blow of middleweight, he flew so far that he never woke up, and that was the end of his boxing. I don't want anybody to commit suicide, so we'll leave it at that. For me, I'll continue to perform my role. Don't worry at all. Honorable members, I do this because the Parliamentary Service Act mandates me to do so. The Speaker is the person endowed with the ultimate responsibility for the administration, organization, and control of employees within the service. So it's my responsibility, and I will not share that responsibility. It's as a result of that, I led the Parliamentary Service Board to put structures and systems in place to assure all staff of the Parliamentary Service of a robust support in the discharge of their duties to Parliament and members of Parliament. And this is to ensure that we have a very efficient and effective Parliament that is responsive to the needs of the people we represent. With this, I thank all of you for your attention. We have other statements to make. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, crave your indulgence to vary the order of business so that we can commence public business. Mr. Speaker, I want us to take the report of the Appointments Committee on His Excellency's ministerial nominees. But we need to vary the order of business to achieve that. With your indulgence and that of the House, if we may vary the order of business.
Let me hear from your colleague Minority Leader first. Yes?
Mr. Speaker, this is a big surprise to me. A moment ago, the chair of the committee and I engaged on the draft report which has been sent to me to have my input. I'm not aware of any report that the chair and my good self have agreed for same to be laid and distributed. We have not discussed that. The chair is here. I do not know whether he has signed any report. So maybe the respected leader of the House may give us further information on his application. Thank you, sir.
Chairman of the Appointments
Right,
Committee.
Honorable Speaker. The draft report has been given to us since Friday. Right, Honorable Speaker, this morning I reached out to the minority leader regarding his concerns about the report. Right, Honorable Speaker, the concerns raised was that one of the nominees promised to bring some documents. And Right, Honorable Speaker, the document has since been delivered. Right, Honorable Speaker, based on the delivery of the document, I have proceeded to sign the report in the absence of any other information from the minority leader. So, Right, Honorable Speaker,
Did you make the documents available to the minority leader?
Yes.
He has copies?
Yes.
Minority leader, is that the case?
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, please.
Mr. Speaker, we can only make progress if we act in good faith. I shall repeat my side. Me as a leader would not obstruct government business. Never. I've been in government before. I know how difficult it is to run a government. I've been a leader and I know. But the only pathway to success is to act in good faith. Mr. Speaker, since the chair has spoken for the records and for Hansel, let me respond to him appropriately to the best of my knowledge. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, and because of the happenings, the person who received the document signed, the draft report got to my office, it was signed. I invited our clerk, and I have my text messages as evidence. I invited her to come so that together we can sit and discuss the issues. Mr. Speaker, may the backbenchers and the young ones in appreciate the spirit of the House this afternoon. It is government business. If you think you can be making noise, your government business will delay. Whilst you await your nomination, make the noise for recognition. That is why you've not been nominated yet. Those who don't make noise have been nominated. Mr. Speaker, those who don't make noise have been nominated.
Honorable Majority Leader, address me.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, yes. That is your role, to make noise. Go ahead. Mr. Speaker, I invited the clerk to come for us this morning. Unfortunately, I received a call from another officer that the clerk was unable to come because she has to meet with you. So another officer came, called Madam Ekua Drua. I know her in this house. She came with another gentleman, and we went through, because I have records of all the documents that the nominees had indicated they were going to provide to us. So we went through. One nominee has provided some of the documents. The rest are yet to. So we went through the records and they took note that they were going to follow up. The other nominee has not provided a single document that he himself promised to provide to us. So I even suggested to them that in view of that, we can.
Kids will be kids. Good job they stay and eat free. Premier Inn. Rest easy.
There's no need to guess what your customers want.
My respected colleague engaged me and indicated that whilst we wait for those documents, we could proceed. I told him that I do not have any problem with assurance that those documents will come, because these are nominees who are spoken on record that they were going to provide the document. It's been days after the vetting. If they said they had it, why are they not bringing those documents? So, Mr. Speaker, for my respected colleague, the chair of the committee, to spring a surprise, these are some of the frustrations we go through. And Mr. Speaker, I speak on my 5 points of fellowship. I am not acting in bad faith. In all truthfulness, I am not aware that the report has been signed. And we all know that before the chair signs, the clerk will sign. If indeed the engagement with me this morning, where we agreed that they were going to get those documents, is any engagement to go by, then how would it be that the clerk would sign with the chair, knowing that they brought me a draft report? Mr. Speaker, I would want to plead with my colleagues. Let us spend more time to Jojo. I will not frustrate you. It is your government. You must form the government. Mr. Speaker, I can only constructively criticize you after you form your government. I do not have any business holding you back. I want that to be on record. But the approach, Mr. Speaker, is not the best. The approach is not the best. If he still wants to proceed, Mr. Speaker, in spite of all I have said, I would not mind. Of the nominees, we have only two issues. We are voting, we are taking you through a secret ballot on two nominees. And I've indicated to you, the Honorable Sam George and Honorable Ablakwa. All the others, can I finish? Can I finish? All the others, by consensus, we don't have a problem. However, those documents that they promised bringing to us must be available. That is the only condition. I don't have any other problem.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, our standing orders are very clear. Order 285. deals with reporting. Mr. Speaker, the chairperson or a member of the committee is authorized to present the reports of the committees to this House. Mr. Speaker, there is a report, the chairperson of the committee, and we're seeking to have that laid so that we can take it today. Mr. Speaker, I am aware of the matters that are being discussed. And in fact, and in truth, the minority leader has discussed those matters with me. He has indicated that he has no objection to the reports except that during the vetting, 2 nominees promised to present certain documents to the committee, and he has not seen those documents. Subsequently, he confirmed that 1 has brought some documents, and he has no problem with the one who has brought the documents, but that 1 of them has not brought the relevant document that he requested for. I had a response for him also. I told him that in my opinion, the document that he is asking for cannot stand between us and approving that nominee. That document, in my opinion, cannot stand between us and approving the nominee. And in any case, Mr. Speaker, when the committee met, at the close of the sitting of the committee took a decision on all the nominees. The committee did not say that they were suspending decision on any particular nominee pending that nominee submitting any document. And the decisions were taken before the full glare of Ghanaians. On television, the media were present and they captured the moment when the decisions were taken on each and every one of the nominees. And no decision was conditional. Mr. Speaker, it is true that the minority at that time had left the sitting of the committee because, in their opinion, your directives on Friday, they misunderstood to mean that the appointments committee should cease to exist. And therefore, since you had decided that the appointments committee should cease to exist, they were not going to participate in an illegality. And so they walked out. I tried to explain to them that I was in this chamber when you communicated to this House, and you did not say that the appointment committee should cease to exist, and therefore you were calling for an urgent meeting to reconstitute the appointments committee. They persisted in their understanding of what you were purported to have done, and they left the sitting of the appointments committee. The committee continued working, and the committee considered all nominees. And at the end of the consideration of all nominees, the committee decided to put the question on each and every one of the nominees before the cameras. Normally we do it in camera, but on this occasion, in order to be very transparent and accountable, the chairman of the committee decided to put the question before the journalists, and the journalists captured the entire exercise. And no nominee had his or her approval subjected to the provision of any document. So if after you have left the committee, and the committee has already taken a decision to approve all of them by consensus, you will come and say that you don't agree and they must submit some documents, I will not accept that. So you can come to the chamber and you can say whatever you want to say, but I am standing my grounds, and every single one of those nominees will be approved by consensus in this chamber. I communicated that to my brother on the other side. So we agreed that he should come and say whatever he will say, and I will have my say. So, Mr. Speaker, we are going to take the report, Mr. Speaker, subject to you granting us leave to vary the order of business. And he can debate the report, but the reports say that the committee approved them by consensus. So no two members, no two nominees are going to be taken out of the report. Mr. Speaker, that is what I can say about the reports.
Honorable members, I have been given a copy of the report. The recommendation on two of them says majority decision on two. The others is consensus. That's the report they gave me. In the case of two of them, the names he mentioned, the report says the committee recommends to the House by majority decision the approval of the nomination, and then the name follows. And that is in connection with Honorable Samuel Nate George and Honorable Samuel Ablakwa Okujato. So those are majority decisions, but the others are consensus. That's what we have. I have a wrong report.
Right, Honorable Speaker. The report under reference is the 10th report. And the 10th report is on Honorable Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpo, Honorable Ibrahim Muntala Mohammed, Honorable Samuel Nate George, Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, and Honorable Joseph Bukari Nikwe. So, right, Honorable Speaker, in respect of the 10th report, which we have to lay, it has nothing to do with Honorable Okujato Ablakwa. And right, Honorable Speaker, the minority leader said we should act in good faith. Right, Honorable Speaker, in these circumstances.
It's worth starting your day right, and the best way to start investing is with XTB, because their money works for you as active or passive investments. At XTB, you get an intuitive service with courses, video tutorials, and market analysis. All that in one place, the XTB app.
Zlatan always starts from the best position.
Be careful, investing involves the risk of losing money and may not be suitable for you.
Brought by Honorable Sam George. So it's completely different from the 11th report. So the issues relating to the 10th report will not be the same as issues relating to the 11th report. So to say that we need to act in good faith, Mr. Speaker, in relation to the 10th report, it is not fair to the chairman of the committee. Right, Honorable Speaker? 10th report is what we are supposed to lay. And if you look at the other paper said presentation of the 10th report, not the 11th report.
Chair, I have been given a copy of the 10th report. January 2025, APP/9/1/1/010. Now, read page 22. You see the recommendation on Honorable Abdul Rashid H. Pelpo. Read page 42. You see the recommendation on Honorable Samuel Nate George. Have you seen that? What does it
Honorable
say?
Speaker, I am not speaking with respect of the decision of the committee, the recommendation of the committee. I'm speaking with reference to the fact that minority leader is saying, acting in good faith. He has not seen a copy of the report.
I've gone past that.
Then I am saying that he is confusing the 10th and the 11th report.
Chair,
Yes.
Chair, I understand that point.
Very well. Very well.
I was addressing the issue that the majority leader raised.
Yes.
Because the majority leader's understanding
Yes.
is that they are all by consensus.
Yes. So,
and I'm saying, Chairman,
yes.
I'm saying that the report I have, that one is not by consensus. It's majority decision. That's what is in the report. Now, my attention was being drawn to another copy of the 10th report. And so when he brought it, we had to compare notes. And we saw that even what he brought, at the same page 42, the recommendation is majority decision. Now, at the last page, which is page 79, you have the committee therefore recommends to the House by consensus the adoption of its report and the approval of the nominations of, and the number there is only 5. But in that, you have number 3, where you put the Honorable Samuel Nate George as Minister for Communications, Digital Technology, and Innovations. But in the body of the report, it says majority decision. That is what I'm drawing your attention to. And both are signed by the clerk to the committee and you, the first deputy speaker and chairman of the committee. Yes, please.
Right, Honorable Speaker. The decision of the committee, per the report that I am holding, the minority has reached out to us that Honorable Sam Nate George would be a majority decision. The rest of the nominees are by consensus.
Exactly what I said.
That is so, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Yes.
But at the last page,
yes.
At the last page,
yes.
When you talked about the consensus,
yes.
You included the name of Honorable Samuel George Nate, which
Right,
meant that one too is by consensus.
Yes. Right,
I don't know, honorable members, are you following? You have copies of the report. That is the conflict in the report. Yes, please.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I would be able to do that correction in presenting the reports of the committee.
Honorable members, I will allow the chair of the committee to present the report and do the writing as we always do by correcting the contradiction.
That is so.
Yes. Let me listen to a minority leader, then I'll come to you, majority leader. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, limiting ourselves to even the 10th report. This is the very problem that I've been raising from day one. When the clerks reached out to me this morning, and we had a meeting this morning on the draft, the understanding reached was that they will engage our respected colleague, Sam George, to bring the rest of the document to enable us finalize the report. That is the 10th report. Mr. Speaker, here is a situation that without reaching out to me again, we have our clerk co-signing the report with the chair. Mr. Speaker, let the record reflect that per the practice of this House, leaders of committees would always have to sign off before a committee report is finalized and brought to this chamber. It is only when the one side has given a firm indication of its intent that the issue of a minority report would arise. Mr. Speaker, this is not the case, and this is where I would want to reserve my comment on the actions of our secretariat in private. I wouldn't speak about the actions of the secretariat anymore in public. But Mr. Speaker, I am happy that the clerk to Parliament is in this chamber and is hearing us. It is a bit a challenge what is happening. Mr. Speaker, I beg to say that until all the information that the nominee himself has committed to providing are provided, until all those documents are provided, we cannot finalize the report. I have therefore no hesitation at all in saying that for Honorable Abdul Rashid Hassan Purple, Honorable Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad, Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, and Honorable Joseph Bukari Nikwe, we can take them because this is by consensus. We shouldn't allow one person's issue to stand in the way of other nominees we don't have a problem with. And in fact, let me publicly state this. If our respected colleague brings the outstanding documents and these documents are satisfactory, we have no hesitation changing our position. We've done that in the case of Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibua. We took a decision to take him through a vote. The issue that we had with him, we resolved it. The majority leader, my good self, and the chair, we resolved it. And upon resolution, we amended the record right here on the floor of the House. Nobody should create the impression that someone is in to frustrate somebody's political appointment. No. But, Mr. Speaker, the very things that our colleagues demanded when they were in opposition are the very things that we are demanding from them. So they should take it easy and engage us the more rather than the confrontation. The confrontation will not work. Confrontation will not work. We have a 4-year journey. This is just the 3rd week. So they should take it easy with us. It's not the intimidation and the attack, the social media that will get me, Kwamina, to be cowed. It will not work. I have seen all this before. So, but I want to do the work in a manner that you as colleagues will know that I respect you. I will not disrespect any nominee. After all, you are going to be our minister. But please, let the right thing be done in the interest of the nation. Mr. Speaker, that is all I demand.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader, please, Honorable Members, your standing orders are clear as to the preparation of report of committees. Is Standing Order 283. 283. And 2831 says members of a committee, including the chairperson, may present
Buying a new or used car? Then you need to visit CarWow, and we'll help you find your perfect car at a price you'll love. Just answer a few simple questions about the car you want, and our trusted dealers will come back to you with great offers. Then choose the offer that's right for you and contact the dealer directly through CarWow. No haggling, no fees, and on average, CarWow users save over £1,800. No wonder 95% of customers surveyed said they wouldn't buy a car without CarWow.
Has been agreed to. A question shall not be proposed on any other report, but portions of other reports may be offered as amendments to a report under consideration where they are relevant to the agreed report. And 5, on the conclusion of the consideration of the report, the chairperson shall put the question and quote, that this report be the report from the committee to the House, unquote. This is the procedure you go through. At all committees, this is the procedure you go through. So at the end of the day, the report is the report of the committee. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, that order governs the process of generating reports. Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other side knows that we have never really complied with that mechanism. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, you know, it is new. It is new, and we are yet to begin to warm up to that process. But Mr. Speaker, I have heard my colleague on the other side, and I just note that this report has some inconsistency, because you have the main body of the report on one of the nominees saying that it is by majority decision, and then in the concluding portion of the report indicating that it is by consensus. So there's a problem with the report. So, Mr. Speaker, I will ask for a short suspension of sitting for me to engage with my colleague on the other side, so that we will correct the reports. We will correct the reports and build consensus, and come back to this House, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, there is an application before the House for us to take a suspension. For how long? 10 minutes? 1 hour?
1 hour, Mr. Speaker, 1 hour.
1 hour. You need a whole hour to discuss this simple Honorable members,
1 hour is okay, Mr. Speaker.
I proceed to suspend sitting. Minority Leader. Yes, you say your position is.
Mr. Speaker, the leader of government business has made an application. Who am I to oppose him? I'm not opposed to his application. So, Mr. Speaker, grant the application as prayed. You grant it as prayed.
Honorable members, the sitting of the House is suspended for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Following the proceedings from the House of Parliament, the House returned today
If you're a dad in the UK, you could claim up to a £300,000 family life cover benefit for your children and spouse. Click below to see if you qualify for this